Why your refrigerator will die in 5 years. Your refrigerator is not dying because you are unlucky. It is dying because the modern appliance industry quietly changed the rules. You think you bought a machine. A solid, expensive, stainless steel machine that should sit in your kitchen for the next 15 or 20 years, doing one simple job, keeping food cold. But what you may have actually bought is a fragile electronic system wrapped in shiny metal, filled with sensors, plastic parts, control boards, water lines, ice makers, sealed components, and failure points you will never see until the warranty is gone. And that is the trap. The refrigerator your parents owned could run for decades. It might have been ugly. It might have been loud. It might have had no touch screen, no Wi-Fi, no craft ice, no smart app, and no glowing control panel. But it worked. It kept food cold. Year after year. Holiday after holiday. Power outage after power outage. And sometimes, after 20 years, it was still running in the garage like some kind of ancient mechanical beast that refused to die. But the refrigerator sitting in modern kitchens today. That thing might cost $3,000 and still start failing before year 5. The ice maker stops. The freezer warms up. The fridge section starts freezing vegetables. The compressor gets loud. The control board fails. The water dispenser leaks. The temperature sensor lies. The fan stops spinning. Then the repair technician shows up, looks at the model number, takes a deep breath, and says the sentence every homeowner hates. Honestly, this might not be worth fixing. That is when you realize the truth. You did not buy a refrigerator. You bought a countdown. And the countdown started the day it was delivered. Now, let's be clear. Not every refrigerator will die in 5 years. Some still last. Some brands still build decent machines. Some owners get lucky. Some models are better than others. But the trend is impossible to ignore. Modern refrigerators are becoming more complicated, more expensive to repair, and less forgiving when something goes wrong. And the worst part is this: most of the features that sell the refrigerator are the same features that help kill it. That giant French door design. More doors, more seals, more hinges, more air leaks, more parts. That ice maker in the door. More water lines, more valves, more motors, more freezing problems. That digital control board. More electronics, more sensors, more expensive diagnosis. That smart screen. More software, more failure points, more things that do not help the refrigerator perform its basic job. And that is the first lesson. Every feature is also a failure point. The salesman calls it convenience. The repairman calls it a future service call. You walk into the appliance store and everything is designed to make you forget the truth. The lights are bright. The doors feel heavy. The stainless steel shines. The shelves slide smoothly. The display looks futuristic. The ice dispenser feels luxurious. You start imagining organized groceries, cold drinks, beautiful kitchens, and a better version of your life. But the showroom is not reality. Reality begins in year 4. Reality begins when the ice maker jams again. Reality begins when your freezer stops freezing overnight. Reality begins when the repair quote is half the price of a new unit. Reality begins when you find out that one small part is only sold as an entire assembly. Reality begins when you learn that the control board is backordered. Reality begins when your expensive refrigerator becomes a financial decision instead of an appliance. And that is why this matters. A refrigerator is not a luxury toy. It is one of the most important machines in your home. When it fails, food spoils. Money is wasted. Your routine breaks. You start buying ice. You start moving food to a cooler. You start calling repair shops. You start checking temperatures every hour like you are watching a dying patient. A broken refrigerator creates panic. And panic makes people buy fast. That is exactly how the replacement economy wins. The old machine fails. You need cold storage immediately. You rush to the store. You choose whatever is available. You get seduced by features again. You finance another expensive machine. The old one gets hauled away. The new one arrives. And the cycle starts over. This is not an accident. This is the modern appliance economy. Products do not have to be impossible to repair. They only have to be expensive enough to repair that replacement feels easier. That is the sweet spot. Not completely unfixable. Just financially painful. A broken ice maker. Several $100. A bad control board. Several $100. A compressor issue. Sometimes enough to make you question the entire refrigerator. A sealed system problem. Now you are in dangerous territory. A water leak that damages your flow. Now the refrigerator has created a second problem. And when the repair gets too expensive, the technician does not have to say the appliance was designed to be disposable. The numbers say it for him. That is how a machine becomes trash while it is still physically repairable. The economics kill it. Now let's talk about the ice maker, because this little feature may be the biggest villain in the modern refrigerator. People love ice makers. They love crushed ice. They love filtered water. They love the convenience of pressing a glass against a dispenser and getting cold water instantly. But from a durability perspective, water and electronics are a dangerous marriage. An ice maker needs water valves, tubing, trays, motors, sensors, switches, heaters, filters, and temperature control. It has to freeze water, release ice, refill, detect levels, avoid jams, and do all of this inside a machine that is constantly opening and closing. Then manufacturers started putting ice makers in the refrigerator door. That looks great in a showroom. But it creates a problem. The door is the warmest, most abused part of the refrigerator. It opens constantly. Warm air enters. Moisture enters. Temperatures change. Seals wear down. And now one of the most failure-prone systems in the appliance is living in one of the hardest places to keep stable. That is not simplicity. That is a repair bill waiting for a date. If you want a refrigerator that lasts, ask yourself one painful question. Do I really need ice through the door? For many buyers, the honest answer is no. You can use ice trays. You can use a simpler internal ice maker. You can buy a separate countertop ice machine if ice matters that much. But tying your entire refrigerator purchase to a fragile door ice system is one of the most common ways people buy trouble. The next major problem is electronics. Old refrigerators were mostly mechanical machines. They used simple thermostats, compressors, fans, coils, and switches. When something failed, a technician could often diagnose it directly. Modern refrigerators are different. They rely on control boards, sensors, thermistors, inverter boards, defrost controls, digital displays, damper motors, and communication between components. Some of this technology helps efficiency. Some of it improves temperature control. Some of it is useful. But every electronic part adds another layer between the owner and the repair. The refrigerator might look fine. The lights work. The display turns on. The compressor makes noise. But the temperature is wrong. Why? Bad sensor. Bad board. Bad fan. Bad damper. Bad defrost system. Bad compressor. Airflow issue. Software logic problem. This is where repair gets expensive. Not because the machine is impossible to understand, but because the failure is no longer obvious. Confusing failures create long diagnosis. Long diagnoses create higher bills. Higher bills create replacement. That is the pattern. Then there is the compressor. The compressor is the heart of the refrigerator. If it fails, the whole machine is in trouble. A compressor repair is not like replacing a shelf or a light bulb. It is a sealed system job. It requires specialized tools, refrigerant handling, skill, labor, and time. That means money. A lot of money. And when a compressor fails on a refrigerator that is already several years old, many owners face the brutal question. Do I spend a huge amount fixing this one, or do I just buy another refrigerator? That question should not appear so early in the life of a major appliance. But it does. And this is where the anger comes from. People are not angry that machines break. Everything breaks eventually. People are angry because expensive machines are breaking too soon, and when they break, the repair system often pushes them toward replacement. That is what feels like betrayal. The refrigerator was sold as premium. The ownership experience feels disposable. Another reason refrigerators die early is heat. A refrigerator does not create cold magically. It removes heat from the inside and releases it outside. That means airflow matters. But many owners never clean the condenser coils. They never check the door seals. They push the refrigerator into a tight cabinet opening with poor ventilation. They pack the freezer until vents are blocked. They let pet hair and dust build up underneath. Then the refrigerator works harder. The compressor runs hotter. The system stays under stress. And slowly, the machine wears itself out. This is the part owners can control. Clean the coils. Check the gaskets. Leave proper clearance. Do not block interior vents. Use a refrigerator thermometer. Listen for changes. Watch for frost buildup. Watch for water leaks. Do not ignore a refrigerator that runs constantly. Small symptoms become expensive failures. But maintenance alone cannot fix bad design. A refrigerator should be maintainable. The coils should be accessible. The parts should be available. The service information should exist. The repair should not require the owner to gamble half the cost of a new unit. That is where modern appliances often fail the consumer. They are built to look clean, sleek, and impressive. But sometimes that sleek design hides poor serviceability. And serviceability is durability. A machine that can be repaired has a future. A machine that cannot be repaired economically has an expiration date. So what should smart buyers do? First, stop shopping only by appearance. Stainless steel does not mean quality. A big screen does not mean better cooling. A French door layout does not mean durability. A premium handle does not mean a better compressor. A higher price does not always mean a longer life. Second, avoid unnecessary complexity. If you do not need a touchscreen, do not buy one. If you do not need Wi-Fi, do not buy it for Wi-Fi. If you do not need water through the door, skip it. If you do not need a complicated eye system, avoid it. The best refrigerator is often the boring one. Boring means fewer surprises. Third, research the exact model, not just the brand. One brand can make a decent simple refrigerator and a terrible feature-packed one. Brand reputation helps, but model design matters more. Fourth, check service availability before buying. A refrigerator that nobody in your area wants to repair is not a good purchase, no matter how nice it looks. Fifth, think about year 5 before you buy on day 1. Ask what can fail. Ask what parts cost. Ask whether the ice maker is reliable. Ask whether the compressor has a history of problems. Ask whether the control board is expensive. Ask whether owners complain about temperature issues. The showroom shows you the dream. Research shows you the future. And the future is what you are actually buying. Because the first year proves almost nothing. Most appliances can survive the first year. The real test is year 5. Year 5 is when weak ice makers expose themselves. Year 5 is when fans, boards, sensors, gaskets, and compressors start telling the truth. Year 5 is when the warranty protection may not feel so comforting anymore. Year 5 is when you find out whether you bought a machine or a decorative countdown timer. That is why repair technicians keep warning people. Do not buy the refrigerator that impresses you for 10 minutes. Buy the refrigerator that will not betray you after 5 years. A refrigerator does not need to entertain you. It does not need to connect to your phone. It does not need to show you recipes. It does not need to make luxury ice. It needs to keep food cold. Reliably. Quietly. Efficiently. For many years. That is the standard. And if the appliance industry has lowered that standard, consumers need to raise it again. Stop rewarding unnecessary complexity. Stop confusing features with quality. Stop buying the biggest and flashiest model just because the showroom makes it look impressive. Start asking the questions companies do not want you to ask. Can it be repaired? Are parts available? Who services it? What usually fails? Is the ice maker a weak point? Is the compressor proven? Does the design help durability or hurt it? Do I actually need these features? Because the cheapest refrigerator is not the one with the lowest price. It is the one you do not have to replace too soon. A cheap refrigerator that lasts 12 years may be a bargain. An expensive refrigerator that dies in 5 years is a disaster wearing stainless steel. That is the truth. Your refrigerator may die in 5 years. But it does not have to. You can protect yourself. Buy simpler. Maintain better. Research harder. Ignore gimmicks. Respect repairability. And remember that the best appliance is not the one that looks futuristic in the store. It is the one that quietly does its job long after the marketing is forgotten. Because real quality is not a touch screen. It is not crushed ice. It is not a smart app. It is not a shiny door. Real quality is stable temperature. A working compressor. A good seal. A repairable design. A machine that survives. And until the appliance industry remembers that, smart buyers have to remember it for them. Do not buy the refrigerator that does everything. Buy the refrigerator that does the right thing. Keeps food cold. Keeps repairs simple. Keeps ownership in your hands. That is how you escape the 5-year refrigerator trap.